Now, a month ago, I was in Sydney, and there's a lot of refreshing sort of talks, especially when you travel or you see other family members from a different city in a different state. And one thing that really struck me, my mentor's girlfriend. My mentor's girlfriend is like, is the modern day's jobs. She's been telling me all the frustration, the stress, the KPIs, and everything like that. I know the videos is laggy. I'm sorry. All right, I'm really, really sorry. All right. Um, and I told her the modern day's jobs are not designed for humans. It was designed to be out of control, out of touch, as where companies, whether they're cutting their budgets, or perhaps when they're cutting budgets, what they normally do is cutting staffs and having, the best of the best staff to handle two, three people's jobs or more. So what I'm trying to say, replace four people into one. So that one makes sure that delivers all that work. That's four workloads pressure. I'm just giving you a ratio, right? I'm pretty sure you kind of understand what I'm saying, right? And you know, whether you're a management role, whether there's a hierarchy. The entry level jobs support this jobs, it supported that jobs, it's supporting this, and that's how the structure, that's how it works. That's how it works. To feed up the hierarchy of the hierarchy. Now, obviously, if you're coming from a university, everyone's saying that, oh, hate the managers, they're earning, 1 mil or 2 mil salary a year, X, Y, and Z, whatever what you guys call it. All right. They're taking a responsibility, they're sitting their ass, writing it down, but we're the ones copying X, Y, and Z. All right. What I do know, I remember one of the incident when I was moving to one of the housing, and I moved out to 1 week later. It turns out my roommate was an ice addict. The one of the things that came up to the internet browser when I type in, who takes ice, and I get to hear that a lot. I don't get to hear that, but I get to hear some of these stories. Is there's a huge ice problem in the corporate world, and they have to fill on these ice to maintain the work ethic, the workload, the numb the stress, and carry on that workload. Now, many of them who works overtime and things like that, we've been hearing on the news, dumbing down drugs and make them work like animals. So the jobs nowadays are a lot more competitive, a lot more difficult. It's even harder to get a job if you don't have this sort of experience. Now, what I did not know about this is each time when there's a union march on the streets saying increasing wages, or raise the minimum wage X, Y, and Z, right? What they actually do is when they raise, right, then employers are saying, "Oh, there's more money out of my pocket." So I make sure I'm going to hire the most reliable, the best of the best worker. So by doing that, they raise the requirements, saying that you will need to have 5 years experience in this industry, or 3 years experience in the industry, or 2 years, and you need this qualification, you need that qualification, and you have this personal attribute skills, right? And this is coming from experience, all right? When I was no, I can't say volunteer. When I was job hunting, and my mentor taught me how to job hunt, sending 30, 40 resume per day. when I do get these interviews, I met the requirement. All right, I just met, but the people that I'm competing with was a lot more higher, more experienced than me. And I just let you know, I was applying for customer representative call center role, just inbound calls, and people has tremendous amount of experience, and I'm just there. I'm the only fish. I'm the black sheep out of everyone. And what happened is many of them, whether they left or got sacked or whatever the story, nobody knows. But I'm just saying back of my head, these guys have way better skills. They are so good. They don't need to have this sort of jobs. And I started to realize more and more jobs are starting to replace, whether it is AI or whether it's been company have shifted on the third world countries for cheaper labor, right? And this is where the part that a lot of banks, and I'm pretty sure at one stage, they're putting a lot of policies, procedures, and a lot of steps to get through. And I remember this last year when I was applying for trade school. And when I applied for it, the man has to go through paperwork. And I just sat there and I said to him, this is worse than having a home loan, get your paper signed. I remember when I was having my home loan, when I purchased a property in 2011, um, there wasn't that much of paperwork. And what makes matter worse, it makes uni even look better. Because I remember when I was applying for university, whether it's for trade, TAFE area or a bachelor of social work, I don't have to go through that numerous paperwork, right? So there's definitely a lot more going on than ever been before. Trying to make sure. And my previous landlord, who works in accountant, and he's been working there for 40, close to, yeah, I would say close to 50 years or 40 years. All right. And he's been telling me how the industry has been viciously powered with compliance and paperwork a lot more than ever before. Many of his peers in the industry has shut their business down because they just couldn't handle it. So I've been seeing that. And the question is these jobs are made for humans? You see, the jobs who requires back end office, requires a lot of paperwork and things like that, or you have too much workload or too much stress and this and that. And what I said to my mentor's girlfriend is that, you know, now the society is talking about mental health, but a lot of workers fall for this mental health or need um, stress leave. A lot of them need stress leave, and when they do come back, they still couldn't handle the workload. So for employers, what they do, high turnover or sack or hire. That's their job. Sack and hire. If they put their job on the website, keep hiring people, it actually tricks the investors or shareholders or the annual report saying that, look, we're growing. We keep on hiring each year. So it's also benefiting as well. Now, let's talk about this. Now we're replacing four people's job into one racial. Sooner or later, he'll get burnt out. Whether he must have a good self care or very, very competitive or can handle this stress free. Now, this is where it kicks in. I'll have to say, especially parents who has invested so much money on their kids who are constantly going to tutoring without no leisure time. These are the people are the ones who manage all this stuff because they manage stress and the workload and everything the day they were born. But the majority of the population, as you can see, it's not made for it. So the final thing that I said to the mentor's girlfriend is that these jobs are not made for humans. They're actually designed to made for robots and automation and AI. Because if you technically think about it, right, a lot of jobs has been, I can't say a lot, jobs are slowly being replaced, right? Because automation is cheaper. There's no tax on a machine. There's no super. There's no tax. There's no super. There's no work safe. There's no risk and hazards, and it's easy maintenance, and they don't have to think of calling sick. All they do care about switching off or on that power button, or perhaps if there's a glitch or anything like that, they don't blame anyone. It's a lot cheaper because now, as wages are going up, and as well rent is going up, that's another big problem. Companies need to find a way to increase, or to maintain their profit or increase their profit. They'll do anything for it. And that's why I said today's jobs is not designed for humans at all. A lot of jobs will be replaced in the future. One of the areas will be one of my now I can call him cousin because he's just married to the family. He finished his law degree, and he's been telling me he can't. It's hard for him to get a job because pretty much AI can do his job. They could check for laws and legislation with a blink of an eye. These unlike human. Now you watch news saying that AI is more accurate in the health industry than ever than before than in human. So the wage earner will shrink. The jobs were specifically was designed to burn out people one by one into mental health, which they gone for blame and shame themselves, which the society is slowly crippling the human society into submission to this technology world. And this is the hardest part. I don't know whose career is going to be there in the future. And I will say I'll salute to everyone because we're all in at this time.